All right, we should be good to go stream wise. Um, so talk to me about what we need to fix here in this third here.
Well, um, that beginning of the ballad with the saxophones and clarinets
Yes.
is a duet, not the.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't write that
You
in the
know,
score.
okay, I was even like, there was a moment where I thought about it, and I looked at the score, and I was like, this seems really weird that there's a section solo going on here, and nobody else is playing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Well,
maybe I should ask him about. Ah, man, now I kind of wish I would have asked.
well, I've been going over. I've been looking at the drill and going over this in my head, so I have a couple ideas if
Okay,
you'll bear with me.
absolutely.
So I guess the good news is that either we're super lucky or whatnot. The two soloists are C1 and A1, and they're at the end of the first movement, right in the same exact spot next to the piano.
Uh huh.
So I wonder if we can leave those two there.
Okay, C1 and A1 are the soloists next to the piano. That would be.
Yeah, do you see them there? Are,
Yes. Yeah.
am
Oh,
I?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome, actually.
Yeah,
Super
okay.
convenient.
I didn't know if I was correct in those two being C1 and A1, but I was thinking we could just leave those two guys there.
Okay, that solves a ton of problems too, because I was having an issue trying to get C1 like grouped with the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was a minor nightmare trying to I basically had to write two shapes that like converge close together so that you have this moment of like unclarity before you all of a sudden see the forms start to form. And so it didn't look like I had people like crossing the field to get to a different shape. So that I think that works out really nicely that those two are our solo people.
Okay, so I'm going to toss kind of a big change here.
Okay.
Um, can we leave those two, and then the rest of the winds head back to the mirrors so we can flip them back around to the mirror side? Can they double time back there in two 16 count moves?
They should be able to.
I don't think it's too far for them to go in my looking at it. So like the left hand side go back to the left and the right hand side back to the right.
Yep.
And then leave the two soloists. And then Miranda wants to do a color guard solo right here during the transition. So that G1 that's behind the mirror
Yep.
is going to do a solo in front of the mirror there for the first 16 counts, or the two double time.
Which drill number is that?
It's what guard soloist?
Yeah, yeah.
G1. She's already at the mirror.
Oh, that's gonna be the guard soloist now?
Yes.
Because I believe I deleted. That was the performer you wanted me to delete, right? To get us to
No, no, no,
six.
no. G1 is the one that is going to be in and out of the drill. She's the seventh girl that isn't going to be involved in all of the.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So I should keep that performer there then.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just have to add her back in here quick, which isn't a big deal. It's like a click or two.
Okay. And then we'll just have the color guard come to the sideline as you had him right now. And what I want to do is a guard solo for 16 counts during that transition while the winds are moving back. And then the guard is going to do like a guard feature at letter, or the next 32 counts leading up to letter I with some type of like mirror props, like handheld mirrors or something. Oh, did you take her out of there?
Yeah.
G1?
Originally I took G1 out. I thought that's what you wanted. but
Nope.
we just threw her back in. It's not a big deal. Just gotta put G1 back in the drill, and done. Because that person was behind that mirror, correct? That's
Yes.
where we had. Yeah, so we're good. She now exists again.
Cool.
Okay, so we need to take two 16s.
Yeah, can we get like the probably the ones that are the closest to the mirrors currently,
Right.
in some fashion on the mirrors? That leaves us like, well, there's 11 on each side if I count right. So 7 changing the mirrors, and then like the other 4 could kneel or something. I don't know. My favorite shape is the last one you wrote with the swing flags and the guard spacing and that S form.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yep.
I'm hoping we can get into that shape somehow again.
I don't think it should be a problem. Like the whole challenge of this tune was getting to like to page 50 basically and get everybody in kind of a straight line that we could break out of. And since we're just sending members back to the mirrors, like they're already kind of naturally positioned like
Yeah.
that to get in that shape again. So like that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can get those guys back to the mirrors and then go from there and see how we can get back
Yeah,
into
okay.
that.
Let's do it. So we're keeping C1 and A2 there. And let's grab the rest of these fellers.
Hey, you know that move where we had the 4 count halt and then the 6 count move and the 4 count halt and the 6 count move?
uh where's that?
Never mind. I was gonna say we did something cool there and it looks pretty sweet.
Is that in the opener that you're talking about? Or
Yeah.
the second tune?
Yeah, it's during that piano solo.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I know. I remember what you're talking about now.
Hey, what's Madison's show this year?
They're doing their show's called Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's a pirate show.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's interesting. I think it's just kind of like a stock arrangement thing, but I think it works well for that ensemble. You know, and they had a little bit of a nightmare situation last year, because their band director left, and then he pre-ordered them some like stock drill that had like it was like 20 holes. Like they just didn't have the numbers for the
Right.
stock drill that they got. It was kind of a nightmare. So
Huh.
they just needed something like super functional this year to like kind of curb the nightmare from last year.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel there. Uh, so how interesting do you want this drill to be as they go out to the mirrors? Probably not too crazy, since I mean
No.
they're going basically straight
Yeah.
back ish.
Let's have them go straight back to the mirrors. Um, yeah, just like straight to them, basically.
Cool. Boop. Okay, you're still taking big steps going that way.
So I was thinking like the person on the, like, let's see here, who is that? M1. She has the least amount of distance to go. So
Right. So
get
probably the 4 that are gonna have to be on the end are gonna be the ones that are not gonna make it to the mirrors, since they're the furthest front field.
Yeah.
So that would be like those 3, and then this. So let's take you guys, and you stay, and so those 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, these guys. So that 16 is at a 7.6 to 5. I'm going to try to scooch him back an additional... Wait, M1. Why are you... Should I skip a performer? 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, no. Okay, that's just this person going to the old drill spot. We're fine. Okay. So you there, and then... Gotta find something interesting for these 4 fellers to do. Like, do you want all the performers going back to the mirrors?
Well, I just need enough to go back there to move them around or turn them around.
Right. So the rest can stay more front field, not necessarily all the way front field, but more front field.
They could.
Okay.
I kind of like the front field of this, which is I'm calling it like the 12 steps. You know, basically from the mirror front forward to kind of be space for the guard to do this little feature thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean they don't have to go all the way back to the mirrors, but it depends on how you want to get them into the next set too.
Alrighty. I'm just gonna like group them together right now, and then we'll come up with a really clear plan here shortly. So I think I kind of want them in this configuration, and then the opposite side we're gonna have basically the inverse of this last one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I know what performers I want. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You are the chosen ones. Okay, we want you guys like that. And then that leaves 2, 4, these 4. So it's C1 and A. Is it C1 and A1 or C1 and A2?
C1 and A1.
Okay.
They should be in the spot that they need to stay in for the solo.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's amazing that worked out that way. Good writing, Casey.
Yeah, preempting. Okay.
Well, I just gave the sheets to the kids. You know, there's 5 clarinets. I said just hand them out to whoever. So they made the right call.
That's awesome. Okay, so they're just splitting the 45-50 each of them. So
hey, here's a funny story. Remember that alto saxophone player that we were gonna try to add in?
Yes.
He came to one day of band, and then his mom emailed me the next day and said that he didn't want to do it anymore.
So in other words, it's a good thing that we held off on.
Yes.
On that.
Yeah.
Thing.
They moved from Texas, like, and his mom's gonna be a teacher in the school district. You know, they were all excited. You know, so maybe I turned them off or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Yeah, it's just ridiculous on the parents' part too.
Um. So, I have C1 and A1 isolated here. I'm just wondering how, like, do we just want to have them next to the piano? Are they going to be playing next to the
Yeah.
piano? Okay.
Could they
Uh,
just
then I
could
need
they
to
just
change the guard up just a little bit so that they're not on top of each other.
yeah, could the soloists just stay right where they're at? Like on the front sideline? Is that where they end up being at the end of the drill?
Uh,
It
well,
looks like it.
A1 actually is slightly off the field. Um,
Can they just be like splitting the 45 and 50 right on the sideline there?
yep.
They're,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not a
looking
problem.
looking at the drill, they're basically right there anyway.
Yep. I just have to get the guard out of the way because that's right now the guard are doing an equipment change exactly in those spots.
Right,
So
right, right. Can they all shift over 4 steps?
the
Shift.
guard.
Yeah, so like that one guard is going to be on the 45, the other one on the 40, the other one on the 35.
Yeah. Do you care about the symmetry of the guard shape? Because what we could do is we could just expand the form too to get them out of the way of those soloists. But like if we scooch them over 4 steps, um then everything in the form is symmetrical except for the guard. I didn't know how big of a deal that is to you.
Yeah, let's make the guard symmetrical. So on each side, the first one is on the 45, the next one's on the 40, and the next one's on the 35. So basically where they're at right now, except over or going outside 4 steps.
Okay. The push tool.
And then I guess we'll just have to weasel them through the winds, but that shouldn't be. They're not doing any work or anything. They're just moving off the field. Yeah, there
Just
we go.
strip the flag and get off.
Yeah. Well, and then we'll have the soloist at the mirror too, so she'll kind of be detracting from what's going
So
on.
C1 doesn't have to move at all. A1 has to move like 2 steps to be splitting the 45, 50, and on the sideline. So
Oh, I see. I could have sworn he was.
that was A2. A2 is next to.
Oh, I gotcha.
So like the letter A1's really close, but A2
Okay.
is the mirror of
Right.
C1.
Yeah,
So
looking at the drill, I thought that was A2, but now I see that it's or A1. Okay, that's fine.
all right, and so then we need to take. So this 16 is fine. We need to take 16 more to get our wonderful cruise here to the mirrors. Yeah, that's not too big of a move. Sweet. Slightly bigger than an 8 to 5.
No problem.
Ever so slightly. Not even a full step bigger. Doink. Doink. Oh, whoops. Nope. No, 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 no. That's not what I want. This. I do that all the time where I forget to like I get excited to start writing a new set, so I forget to click the page tab and I start rewriting an old set instead of writing a new set. Okay, so you guys are good. They are. I don't know why I don't just have the music on here. So yeah, these the members actually aren't even changing their configuration too much in these couple sets either. So that's kind of nice. Um, what are your thoughts on having these hold on. So having these like uh 8 extra members who are not grabber, who are not going to the mirrors. What are your thoughts on having them like doing some dance or choreography or something here? Like just spread them out, and then like the guard can interact with them or something. I guess I don't know what Miranda's plans are.
Yeah,
Uh,
so we'll have the solo for this transition, which
yep.
is the 216 double time, and then the next 32 counts up until letter I will be like a guard feature, basically, with some sort of prop, I guess. So, yeah, the wins. I mean, they could do whatever, I guess.
Because they don't play
No,
for a long time yet.
right. I and there's four on each side.
Yep. There's 4 brass and 4 woodwinds.
I mean, we could have them interact with the guard. What would you think
I
of
I
that?
think honestly, like in just kind of looking at how long they're gonna be active without playing, they
Yeah,
really should be doing something with the guard, just based
yeah,
on based on where they're staged and based on the duration of time that
right.
it's gonna
What if,
take.
like, see, I'm imagining like the guard has like these handheld mirrors, like a
Hmm.
tennis racket or something, and maybe they like allow the win members to like look into the, or they point it towards them and they have them look into it or something. So, I mean, and we could always make things up too on, on that, but I wouldn't mind if you wanted to do that.
The only slightly awkward thing is because we have a guard. So does the guard solo just go through the first 2 sets of 16,
Um,
or how long does that solo happen?
yeah, just the first four measures of letter H.
Okay.
So, and then if we wanted, she could join the other ones on the guard feature, which I
Right.
think we should do.
Is it and the is she gonna have to have the soloist? Is she gonna have to have some equipment when she's done with her solo?
So if she's soloing in front of the mirror, she'll be using the flag that she had in her hand at the end of the first movement.
Mm-hmm.
She might have to go behind the mirror and grab that mirror prop and then come back out. So if we can just kind of keep her around stationary around that mirror, then she can do her equipment changes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ones could do them off the front sideline. So what you're saying is we have two extra win members,
Yeah, we have 2 more win members than we have guard members here. So
or I
those
mean, I
two
guess
win.
we
And,
have one extra win member if we use all seven.
right, yeah. Assuming that we're using all 7, then we would have 1 extra. So we have a couple. In my mind, we have a couple things we can do. Either that guard soloist person can disappear again, and then we have 3 guard members so we have 6 guard members with 6 win members, and then a pair of win members doing something, like either
Right.
doing the exact same thing or doing something slightly altered. I guess I don't know how dancy or how complicated the guard stuff is going to be. So depending on how difficult that is, they could either do the exact same thing, just 2 win members instead of a guard member and a win member, or something slightly different,
Mm-hmm.
or we would have like 7 guard members with 7 win members, but then that would leave us with 1 win member kind of on an island.
Right. Well, we could throw one of the win or one or two of the win members behind the mirror too
That's true.
during during this if we want them to go away for a little while.
It's gonna be a little hard to hide that when you know what I mean, like because
Yeah.
there's 14 people who are no longer in the ensemble. Well, I mean, for they're no longer in the focus of what's going on here,
Right.
so that it's really exposed.
Um, 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 um. I think it would allow us to do more things if we had the wins with the guard. So
Yeah, I
instead
agree.
instead of the guards just out there for 32 counts because that's a long time to do stuff. So I think if
Yeah.
they play, so what if we split the time? So maybe the guard did something by themselves for half the time and then interacted with the wins for half.
Yeah, that's cool.
What if they interacted with the? Should we have them interact with the wins first, and then the wins can kind of get ready to do their thing with the people that move the mirrors? Would that be cool?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Have the win players interact with the guard mirror props the first 16 counts, and then or the next, so the four measures. You have the score up,
Yes, I do.
and they all got measure numbers. You got the new one up.
Yep.
Measure 114.
One. Oh, I'm too far. Go back. Go back. Go back. Yes, 114.
All right, yeah. So letter H to 114 would be guard solo. 114 to 117 or 118 would be winds and guard interacting, and then 118 would just be guard doing something, and then so that 118 to letter I, the wind players that were interacting with the guard could kind of start moving into position to get ready to play at I.
So H to 114 is guard only, or they're
Guard
doing
soloist.
or guard soloist, right.
Yep. And
And
then
then
the guard,
14 to 18, or 14 to 17 rather is, or
yeah,
14 through 17 is them interacting,
yes,
and then 18 to I is
just guard.
Independent.
And then the winds can kind of start moving to their spot that they need to be ready to play with, and that allows time for the other member back at the mirrors to kind of gel again with them.
Got it.
Let's do that.
Okay.
I guess we still need to decide how we're gonna do the numbers here, though. One, maybe we could have two win members closest to the mirror, the center mirror, interact with one guard in a way. I don't know. Why don't we do that, and then we can always just like hide them behind the mirror if we wanted.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I was moving this guard soloist into a position of solo status. um, so she's there for two counts of 16 or two sets of 16, and then
one set or one set of 16, but two double times 16.
yeah, right.
Four measures.
Exactly. Yep. So this would get us through the first two sets.
Okay.
To page 42.
Okay. Yep.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. So that works out fine. And then I just need to obviously reconfigure these brass that I haven't edited from their previous stats yet.
Yep.
And the question is just to get them into, or how are we gonna? Oops, nope, I don't want to do that for a whole transition. So we can even make them into a little box or something here. No, I don't like that. I think they need to stay on their separate sides. They need to give the guard soloist her space. Just out of curiosity. I'm just moving them into something. This is not necessarily the final iteration, but I just want to get them into like a discernible form. Yeah, that's mirrored. Oh no, I don't want you. Why are you there? I don't want. Okay, yeah, I don't know what that was all about. Oh, huh. Okay, that's what's happening. Why is right? Because A1 is supposed to be there. I just actually had the wrong performer there. We just need to switch performers.
Yeah, we got the whole thing learned up to letter H, and we've been working on that beginning with the dancing in front of the mirrors and stuff. I think it's gonna be cool.
Awesome.
Yep. We're just trying to figure out how to keep the mirrors from blowing over now. We've got
I feel like there's got to be.
Yeah, we got a prototype of a stand, which is good. It's just a little bit unstable, so
Are
kind of
they? And you said they're not going to be like on wheels or anything, right?
yeah,
Or
they'll be on
they
wheels.
will be. So at least like that gives you the option of maybe being able to sandbag them a little bit.
Yeah,
And
we're
so
just
they're
trying to weight them
because
down a little bit.
yeah, because if you're moving them without wheels, then then there's the question of weight. But if they're already on wheels, then I guess the weight's not as big of a deal
Right. Yeah, we'll just
for
push them.
for mobility. Um. Ah.
My biggest concern is if somebody's not there. Like, how is the mirror gonna move if somebody's missing? You might have to have like a someone fill in.
I was gonna say, is there a possible way that you can just have like some techs or something who can?
Yeah, I might have to just recruit somebody if, if it comes to that.
Um. Okay, so I like the way this develops. I don't like how little movement is happening here. So if we can just kind of spread them out a little bit, maybe. I don't want to spread these members out. Oops. No. I mean, yes, but no. Um, uh, uh, one other minor detail here, too, is one of our members who has to dance with the guard has
Here's a
a
tuba.
tuba.
Well, I guess that may solve our problem as far as why don't we just throw him behind the mirror, and then the other seven could dance? Would that work?
Yeah, we
And
can do that.
the one side B, what is that? A2 could dance with the member in the front of the mirror.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
That works. So, okay,
Plus,
so
the tuba player is totally uncoordinated. So.
so we have two moves of 16 double time to get these people to the mirrors.
Yep.
and then after that, and that's when the guard soloist is doing her thing,
Right.
and then
So now, let's see.
your so your
The,
color or so your color guard people are
the,
they're going to be doing something independent first, right? And then they interact with the winds, or was did you want them interacting first and then?
well, it'd be nice if they could interact first. That way, the winds could get out of there and get ready to play in some sort of fashion.
Okay,
'Cause,
so these wind members then need to not be in the shape that they're in. They need to
and
be.
I'm assuming we'll have to have the color guard come out either the last 8 double time counts, or I don't want them to come out too soon while the solo is going on. So I bet they could make it to where they need to be in 8 double time counts. So the last 8 counts of set 41 into 42.
All right. So you just want them out in 8 double time of the second move there.
Yeah, the
Okay.
last 8 counts of the solo.
I'm gonna write an 8 count subset for guard.
Okay.
Or maybe that's not even necessary. Hold on.
If you didn't write a subset, that'd be fine. I know when they need to go out. I
Sure.
can just tell them.
Yeah, I'll just make a note when we finalize this copy and I write down the notes.
Yeah.
I'll just write a note that says, "Hey, guard." Actually, I'll just remind myself right now. Uh, okay, so let's get them. Oops. Pointer. That's what I want. We want them in some something. So this would be slightly bigger than an 8 to 5 if they came out on those last 8 of this Dealy Bobber.
Yeah. What do you have a form in mind for them? Like
Um,
just a straight line there?
well, right now they're in this line, and the reason I have them like that is like they need to be able to like I want them in like a long shape so that people can see, this. It fills up more space having them horizontal, like in a horizontal configuration, and
Yeah.
then when they're interacting with the wind members, it gives them the most exposure, you know,
Sure.
for them to be.
So, do you want it to be symmetrical? So, what if they just went straight back, and then they'd be 5 yards apart?
Um,
Because those 3 guard in the middle are going to be crammed together.
well, I mean, like the one in the middle has to be in the middle because that's your soloist, right?
Yeah, she'll be done soloing then. Yeah.
Right. So the I guess my thought on the matter was that so we get them to this configuration and then going to the next set, they I mean that's when they'll start their movement, their interaction, and that'll be a slightly different configuration than this. But I mean I guess we can.
I think if you just have them stationary, I mean, we can always work our own, like routine into that too. So you don't necessarily have to write any like core or drill moves for them. We just get them in a spot, and then we can have them, you know, interact. What if we staggered them too? What if we put like who's on the end? G4, and then whoever's on the 40-yard line would be like 4 steps off. So we kind of did one 8 steps off, one 4 steps off, another one 8 steps off, another one 4 steps off. That would fill up even more space.
It'd fill up more space, but do we like? Are we factoring in the soloist here too? Or
Yes.
okay.
Or what if we did opposite of that? What if soloist is 8 off? Can't read the numbers very well. And then the next one's 4 off, 8 off, 4 off.
Oh, whoops. You can just stay there. Something like this.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, then they kind of fill up some vertical space as well as sideways space. Now we just got to get the win members grouped up with them.
Well, that's an easy right. That's just...
With the exception of letter U, or U1.
Right. And 8. And then we'll just do one of these numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the U. Yeah, that puts U1 there. So something like this here. If you don't see it on your screen, you should soon. And that gets us in pairs.
Yeah, I like that. I'm kind of thinking ahead of what we're going to do with the soloists now. Or the duet people. I guess they don't need to play at letter I. They can just make their way back field into the form or something. My kid just woke up. I'm going to go grab him.
Oh, wait.
Be right back.
Sounds good.
them back?
So I'm thinking. So do you? I mean, we have a couple sets here to iron out during this dance stuff, but I'm thinking that by about page 46, or what I have written at 46, I would like to get them back into the shape. Like we can always just reorder numbers, and that's not an issue at all. But if we can get them back in at page 46, in at least in the order that they need to be, or in a relatively close thing, then we can just finish out the movement if you like the way the rest of it develops.
Okay. Well, let's try for that.
Because
I'm
at that
wondering
point, that's after the solo, and that's just
yeah.
I don't see any reason why we can't do that.
There's
And
one spot when they hit letter J that are where those wind members that are by the mirror are pretty dang close to that. So, and then the other thing is, I wondered if we could, on the very last set that you have, how they end.
yeah,
Page 50, was it
50
54?
yeah 54.
If the guard, if everybody could be um, forward more, and then that curve kind of connects through the mirror, or so they're kind of like spread apart just a little bit, and then everybody's up like 4 steps or so.
Let's actually take this. Because that would mean this would need to be forward. This needs to be forward. This forward, forward.
And then I'm wondering if could we keep the guard in front of the field. So what is that page? Is that 47 where they're super close? I wonder if we could avoid that set and just have them come forward from there. Because that letter J, you have them, or they're going to be opening up their swing flags, and they're awfully close to the winds. So I'm wondering if at letter J they could be kind of like they are when they finish the movement, nice and big and spread out there, and just standing still and doing some twirls with their swing flags, because they won't expose the double flags to letter J.
So J is 50.
Yeah.
So I mean, the whole idea at J is that the guard actually moves forward while the rest of the ensemble moves backwards, so they can expose the swing flags. Um,
Could we find a way to get them exposing the swing flags like really closer to the sideline?
we can, yeah.
I think. All right. I think it'd be cool to utilize that space at the front of the field, kind of as a theme throughout the show. Ooh.
'Well, let's go through. Let's just go through what. So we'll go for. Let's go 42 to 43 because at this point I don't know that we can salvage any of the rest of this.
Let's just keep going. See where we get here. $42. So yeah, 42. Could they get somehow into set 42 from here?
They're in page 42 right now.
Or I mean 43, whatever you had in 40, the S shape thing.
You want them in the last shape of the
Well, I guess
at
I'm just.
43, or what? What's
I
the?
guess, I guess I was just trying to salvage what. Um, yeah, what set is that? Going, yeah, so 43 to 44. I guess we got a lot more members on side A than side B. 1, 2, 3.
No, it's the same number of members on each side. It's just
Oh,
that
yeah,
just because we've edited some stuff, we still have members that are at the mirrors on side two.
yeah. Right.
Um, so it's just a matter of like we can get back to. I mean, we can get back to 45. I think 45 or 46. We could probably get back to those shapes, but before that, probably not.
Yeah, I like that. I like that big long S one from 45 to 44 to 45, with the exception of the guard being back there. We could just try to keep them in the front. Yeah, we'll just have to reorder the members, I guess, like you said.
I'm just doing some. Sorry, I'm just doing some. I'm not. I'm not idling here. I'm just trying to
No,
do some ask some questions in my head here really quick.
yeah, no problem.
Because I'm wondering if we can actually just push the progression of this whole thing forward. That would allow us to do what you want to do once we get to 54. Um, if we can move this thing 4 steps forward, I think we could actually keep most as is, just pushed front field some.
Yeah, I love the guard shape at the very end. I'd just like to see the girls and all of them 4 steps forward, and then have it like that S shape connect through the mirror. Because you kind of got those two members behind the mirror. If we could kind of spread them apart, but
So in theory, just gonna see what this would look like here. Push and come to just disregard. Okay, so there's a small issue there. No, that doesn't work. Go back, go back, go back, go back. Oh, did that just push everything forward for me? It'd be pretty sweet if it did. It looks like it did. No. Why? Okay, so... So you are 4 steps forward of that. Okay, yeah, we need to move this forward. And then we'll have to do some rearranging of the guard too.
Yeah, that last set now, can they be those two people in the middle at the mirror, can they be out like one step? So slide side A and side B over one step?
It'll have to be bigger than one step,
Just so it connects,
but
like imagining the mirror as a person, basically.
and one outside of 35. One here. Oops, go back, go back, go back.
So basically, just like breaking that form apart and just imagining the mirror is an extra person. That's what I was thinking. I'd like to keep them inside the 35s there if possible. Or, I mean, if you split them apart there and just put the end people on the 35s, would that work?
Yeah, that's what we're trying here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, I don't like how that looks, so we'll do that.
Can you hear my kid being a psycho? That totally changed in 1 week. Standing up on everything.
That's crazy.
It kind of sucks. Now he's hurting himself falling down. So at page, where's that at where the guard is in the middle?
That's going to be at 48.
Instead of them going backwards, can they come forward?
They
That
can.
way they don't have...
The reason that I wrote them backwards instead of forwards is because
Yeah,
like
you
this
got
whole
them going.
this is like it's a pseudo. Because at least the way like it looks in the music, it's like, hey, this is gonna be our climax, and then it dissipates, right? And then we hit you with the real climax. So what I was doing was fold
Right.
them in here like they're gonna climax, and then they move backwards because they're not the feature, and then just a few counts later they come back in, and that's when they push forwards.
Right.
So that was the design consideration behind that
Right.
behind that move. So
Yeah,
we
I
have
guess
them
that.
coming in, and then, oops, just kidding, we're not gonna do it. And
Right.
then we go into 50, and then we bring them forward and hit you with all the color and all the flair and all that type of stuff,
Right.
just to make it super obvious that, oh hey, we've arrived.
Right.
And now that they're staged more front field, I mean, we can move the guard even further forward if you want, but
I guess my concern was when they're in that straight line and we hit letter J that they'll be just a little too close to the winds to open up those flags.
they shouldn't be. Their first step will take them because the winds are moving backwards and they're moving forwards. They they should be a minimum of 2 steps away from the winds on the very first count of that move.
Yeah.
At letter J. So yeah, so like the first count of J, like even if their flags go forward, like they should be able to take a full step forward and not hit any winds.
Right. So now the question is, can we get those color guard members back into it since we changed the beginning here a little bit?
Yeah, because they're still paired with winds, right? So we get to we need to bridge a transition. So we have 42. We need to change 43, 44, and then 45. We can get them back in the shape. So is this a double time move? I guess the challenge with this is going to be we have these C1 and A1 have this solo or this duet thing going on.
Yeah.
And now we have the wind members staged so far back field, like they might have to do more double time here. And that's okay. So we took 16 and 16 to get them back to the mirrors, but they have to stay at the mirrors for a little while, right?
Yeah, so they need to be, let's see here. I'm imagining them holding for 16 counts and then turning the mirrors at the same time. So what measure number would that be? Measure 118 and 119. So turn them in 8 counts. And then take the 8 counts before I to get back into a shape to be ready to play at I.
It's just not going to work. There's just not enough counts to keep the back half of this thing. Because what we did was so the end of the second or the end of the last movement, we pushed them all the way front field, and now we're pushing them all the way back field. So and then we pushed the rest of this thing 4 steps further front field. So this whole progression that was staged, in front of the mirror or around the mirror has been moved forward, but the rest of the stuff has been moved backwards. So like we're kind of kind of doing the stress test on how many steps we can afford here.
Yeah. Let's see here. That's 44 to 45.
Yeah, that's so 40. This would be the shape that ideally we'd like to get them in, so that they could finish out the movement.
What's the next shape? 46 to 47. They're just following the leader.
It's a small follow the leader from 45 to 46, and then 46 to 47 they start developing into something else.
Right.
And that's when we get to this. So this hole from 42 to 43, that should really just be the guard interacting with the winds here, right?
42 to 43. What measure numbers are we talking?
That's gonna be
One,
that's gonna be the
114?
beginning of the solo section.
114.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for 16 counts, so that's just guard and winds interacting with each other.
So they should stay like in this. They should stay relatively close to this like shape, right? Like we can basically copy paste the wind form because I mean I don't imagine they're going to be doing a ton of moving.
Yeah, they need to stay in that area. Well, maybe we'll just have to rewrite a few sets going after the guard win interactions here.
Oops. No. Copy you, paste you, clear.
You know what? Maybe let's. What if we just keep going from where we're at here and see what ideas we can come up with, and I don't know here.
Oh yeah, you won. You won. I'm gonna make one small change here. So we have all of you guys doing this. I'm just gonna like. I guess that's not a big deal. Because they'll be. We'll just say that the pairs are centered on the yard lines here.
Okay.
So you know it'll like your guard members, they will have the dot on their page, but really like that's the pair will be on the
Right.
on that whatever yard
Right.
line, so that when they're dancing, they won't necessarily be on the dots, but the center of their like orientation will be on that spot.
Yeah, I got.
Yep.
I got you.
And then
So can we take the 4 measures before I to have the winds get into a shape here? See where we get.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So like I think we need to throw an extra set in here, or rather a subset. So that the winds in the back from 43 to 44 can move front field of this shape.
What did you charge me last year for a drill?
Last year was $2,000.
Okay. Same this year?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, how would you feel if I just gave you a little extra for wasting a little bit of your time here?
I wouldn't be opposed.
Okay. Well, I apologize for you doing all this and then me having you rework things. So
Well, I mean, like I want to get you what's gonna function, and what's gonna
yeah.
work.
So if you can just bear with me, I'll compensate you for your extra time.
No, I appreciate that. I do.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to trying to figure out how to make this happen here.
So if we no, buddy, you're getting into everything. If we forget the idea of them trying to get back into what you already have in a way,
Yeah.
um, and just go from there and then see what happens.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so okay, so they're all on the I'm trying to get out of. We've been, especially now that we've changed the beginning of this. We've been doing a lot of symmetrical drill, and so I kind of want to bring a little balance to the kind of the composition.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I think we need to do some, and this movement is the perfect one to incorporate more curves, more
Right.
offset stuff.
Right.
need some water. So the only thing that I really wanna, I'd like to be able to get us to page 49, 50, 51 in its current form. Like that's kind of the whole moment that we're building up to, and I personally I like how this develops. And that gives us what, 8, 16, 24, 28, 32.
Is it possible to
40 counts to get into that shape?
Yeah. Is it possible to still keep them 4 steps back starting there, but still get them that final set in that same shape? I'm wondering.
In, like, you're talking 55?
Yeah, like when they're curved and then through the mirror, you know?
Yep.
I'm just wondering if it's possible to get them curved through the mirror, but still keep the sets prior to that 4 steps back like we originally had. And then like the guard in 55 would just be forward more. I wouldn't even mind if they're a couple steps off the sideline in a way.
Let's try that.
So can we put the guard front row 2 steps in front of the sideline and then keep the wins where they're at?
Two steps, like, towards the audience in front of the sideline, you're saying?
Like, yeah, in front of the front sideline. Wonder how much space that will leave then. That should leave a good 4 steps in front of the wings.
Oops. That's what we wanted. I think that's gonna get really complicated. Only like a bit because I mean, like, we have the guard going to the front sideline for equipment changes. Um, so we already have equipment on that front sideline. Like, I think it's gonna make things look really messy if we do too much stuff in front of the sideline.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Okay,
I don't mind having a couple of shapes that, like, you
how
know,
about
like
on
touch
the front
or come
sideline?
slightly off that front sideline, but once we start like doing
Yeah.
big picture things, I think that's gonna look really messy.
What if they're on the sideline then here?
They're gonna be on top of their equipment.
No, I mean in like right on the front sideline. Because we've been having them put their equipment like off the front sideline like 4 steps.
Okay.
Yeah, that leaves that color guard girl a little bit close to those wings then when we do that. List those wins. Oh, yeah. Oh, buddy.
So we're concerned about 52 to 53. Because that's the shape that is going to land us. So let's... that starts... it's going to be really difficult to march.
I say we just go back and move forward and see if we just need to do something different.
So the guard's already going to have their swing flags, yeah. At this point.
No, that's a good thing. Is they're going to need to come back off and get their swing flag while the wind players start playing at letter I or somewhere around there. So they're going to have to come out with their mirror props and then they're going to need to have to go away. For a brief moment to grab those swing flags again. So I'm thinking at letter I, when the winds start coming in and playing, that's where the guard can go get their swing flags, come back out with them, and then start swing flag. Well, they'll just use one swing flag. They'll group them together. I don't know, say 126 or so. What? You're going to bunk your head. No, you can't reach that. You can't reach all the way over there. Oh.
So the notes that Miranda sent said that she wanted an equipment change at H. So like right at the beginning. Is that's changed now? Are we?
That equipment change was to go get these mirror props or these mirror handheld mirrors or whatever we're going to use.
And then there's an additional equipment change after that point.
Then they'll have to change those again at letter I.
Okay, I was under the impression that's when they were grabbing the swing flags.
Oh.
So that's where I was mistaken. I didn't realize that there was another piece of equipment.
Yeah, we'll have to do 2 of them there, which I think is fine, but.
So we have the one at I to grab those things. When do they need to grab swing flags then?
They'll grab the swing flags at I. So they'll finish up their props. Well.
So right at.
Yeah, at letter I. I figured they could take some time to go to the sideline, come back out with the swing flags, and then they could start work with the swing flags at 126, and then expose the double swing flags at J. So that for sure won't work with those color guard going to the back.
Right.
We'll have to work something else there.
So I is going to be I is page 46. That's when we need to get the swing flags for the guard, and then 50 is going to be J. When they expose the double swing flags.
Yep.
What are we doing with guard soloist? Where's she going after this?
Let's see here. So the guard soloist at the very beginning at H, right?
Yep.
She will solo. That's a good question. And then we had her coming out here to do this little mirror prop thing, huh?
Yep.
Because there's not going to be enough time for her to ditch her flag, grab the mirror prop, and then join everybody else. They start. What if, well, what if she didn't do that? And what if she just did the solo and then went behind the mirror? Would it be, I wonder if it'd be cool to do another solo while the guard are going off again to get the swing flags. So we kind of go back and forth with her.
So she's soloing right at the beginning for the first 16. And
Yeah.
then the second 16, she's still soloing, and then gets a partner at the end of it to start. So she has uh, 16 total fast counts, right? So, or sorry, yeah, 32 fast counts, 16 slow counts at
Yeah,
the
so what
beginning
if she just did a
where she's
solo during
soloing.
those 32 fast counts at letter H,
Yep.
and then went behind the mirror and didn't do the pairs with the wins? What if we kind of just took those two win players and had them kneel behind the mirror, and the guard member soloist went behind the mirror? Then we,
Why don't those two win members just do something together then? So
that'd be,
we'll have 3 pairs that are guard wind, and then 1 pair that's win wind.
that's fine.
That way, that we're not trying to cram a bunch of people behind that mirror, or as few people as we need to.
Yeah. And then what if we had the guard soloist come back out as the other guard members are exchanging for their swing flags? And then that guard soloist could come back out with her swing flag and do another solo with that to kind of fill the gap of not having the guard out there. I think that would work.
Okay. Tell you what, I'm just gonna sit and write here for a bit. So, can I shoot you some stuff here in maybe an hour or two, depending on how long it takes, and then we can move forward from there?
Yep, that sounds good.
Cool.
Yep. All right, thanks, Casey.
Yep, no problem, man.
Talk to you in a bit.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.